Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of the Melanin Mayhem podcast, hosted by your favorite country girl, Renee Davis. If this is your first time moving mayhem style, let me be the first to tell you what you in for, honey. And what you in for is a real treat, because Melanin Mayhem brings you the stories of some of the most heinous, diabolical, and downright audacious serial crimes committed by some melanated baddies that you probably never heard about. And if you have heard about them, you haven't heard the story the way I tell it. You see, my personal mission in life is to dispel this myth that's out here in our community and others, that there are certain types of crimes that Black people don't commit, because that's cap, baby, all day and twice on Sundays. Because please understand, we've been out here doing serial shenanigans since we been here. And baby, because don't nobody believe that we out here committing these serial shenanigans, they out here getting us. So that's what I'm here for, to bring you these tales to keep you up on game, so you know and understand that we do it all, been doing it all, and you better know so that you don't get got. Now that we've gotten that out the way, I also want to just make sure that you understand that you saw that the rating for this here podcast was explicit. So don't be up in here acting all shocked and offended because my mouth is reckless. Because baby, I am country as a bowl of grits. I am bilingual as well. Okay, you didn't know that? Well, I speak English, I speak country, and I curse like a sailor. Those are the languages that I speak fluently, honey. So consider yourself warned and govern yourself accordingly. All right, church. Now that we have welcomed our visitors properly, hey, New Orleans Nation, my sugar foots, the hot sauce on my collard greens, the sugar in my tea. What's cracking, cousins? We are marching through this summer, ain't we? And you know what? If I squint, I think I can see Virgo season on the horizon, honey, because y'all know it's coming, right? And you know what else is coming? A chance for y'all to get down with some more live and in-person events. Yeah, man. I told y'all I've been in the kitchen cooking up all kinds of stuff, and dinner is about to be served, literally. Get ready for mayhem at the mansion, and mayhem at the manor, and mayhem on the mall. Yes, honey, your favorite country girl is serving up the mayhem dinner mystery style. And you know, there is nothing I like better than a good old dinner party. And if you add in a splash of murder, ooh, we got ourselves a sure enough good time. Now, details will be coming soon about this mayhem murder mystery dinner parties and when they will be in your city. And don't forget, and we are also getting our coins and the PTO rights to come out in October for the BTCC, the Black True Crime Collective first event of the year, a live show where we're getting our sip and paint on October 18th. Pre-sale tickets will go on sale to the discussion group first because, you know, membership has its privileges. And if you don't know, you might want to join. And then August 1st, we will open up the sales to everybody. Baby, this is just the beginning of the Black True Crime events, because we out here and big things is popping, baby. All right, let's move on because we got some business to attend to today. Now, I don't know if you know it, but I hate it when the murderers that murder are regular, degular looking dudes, just hiding in plain sight. I like my serial offenders to have a scarlet R or a scarlet M on their forehead. But unfortunately, life don't work out like that. And this week, the man I'm gonna tell y'all about, on paper and on the outside looking in, he was a hard-working father and husband. Oh, he was from a good home. Yes, honey, he had a leg up. He had every opportunity to be a good, productive, non-killing motherfucker. But he said, fuck all that. I'm gonna get out here and do what I do. But you know what? What I found is that when you dig a little deeper, you see that as usual, there were signs, but don't nobody want to believe that they could be married to, shacked up with, got a baby by, or related to a serial killer. So Delulu land is where we reside, refusing to see what we seen, refusing to believe that little voice that's telling you something ain't right, just explaining it all away, making excuses, painting that picture to make it be what you want to see rather than what it is. I know, honey, please understand, we all do that shit. But today, I'm gonna scare the shit out you. And maybe, just maybe, that situation that you've been avoiding, you know the one, this will propel you to go and handle that shit. All right, that's enough of a tease. Let's go on ahead and drag this motherfucker to the front of the congregation for a proper read. This week's Melanin Mayhem maker is Mr. William Jennings Choyce, aka Oh Dirty Bastard, and not the one we like. R.I.P. ODB. All right, New One Nation, before we get to doing what we do, I just want to say that this week's story is a little bit different from how I normally tell the tale. You see, normally I am piecing together background and the events that had happened through old newspaper articles and the court documents associated with the crime and whatnot, you know, those types of things. And I did that this week as well. But this story also is kind of unique in the fact that there was a first-hand experiential source that blew my mind. Ooh, honey, because William, he was married and his wife and child did a documentary spilling all that first-hand tea. And I am inclined to believe every word I heard, because when you hear how it went down, all you're going to be able to say is, yes, honey. Well, let's go on ahead and get into it. Now, William Jennings Choyce was born in 1954. Exact date, I have no idea, but he was born to parents William Jennings Choyce Sr. and Iris Choyce. William Sr. was a military man. He served in the Marine Corps and he was in World War II. And William Sr. was from Louisiana and Iris was from Oakland, California. And when William was ready to leave the war behind, California is where him and Iris settled down to raise their family. Now, William had 4 siblings, 2 brothers and 2 sisters. There was a 5th sibling, but that child died as a child somewhere around 1956, causes unknown. Now, I'm going to tell you, the Choices, oh, they was living a good life, honey. Oh, for the time, they were like the Huxtables or something. I mean, they were the shit in the neighborhood. I'm talking, they owned their own home outright. They had not 1 but 2 cars paid for, parked out front. And oh, them children, them kids I was talking about, oh, they had the best of the best of the best. Oh, no public school for them, honey. Oh, no. Only private would do. Do you understand the bill for 5 children in private school? Even in the 60s and 70s, that was still a grip. Daddy Choyce worked over at the Naval Yard, and Miss Iris, she ran the house. Now, according to the street, your boy William had that drip. You know, fresh kicks, creases on point, name brand, everything. And quiet as it's kept, he was easy on the eyes, too. I ain't gonna even hold you. To me, Brother Man looked like the dude that was the manager in the New Edition movie. What's his name? Wood Harris. Yes, honey, old chocolate drop. Yeah, he could be Wood Harris's brother. Nice looking, all chocolatey and tall, from a good family. And yes, as a youngin', he was shaping up to be a good man, Savannah. Well, you know, William was friends with a boy down the street. The friend had a sister named Alice. And you know how it goes sometimes. If you got siblings, you sometimes fall for one of the homies when you young. And that's exactly what happened to Alice Swafford. She fell for her brother's friend, William. And William fell hard for her, too. It seemed, oh, it was fairy tale like, y'all. William was the perfect gentleman. He wasn't trying to get in Alice's pants too hard, you know what I'm saying? He was very respectful. He wooed her. He opened doors and shit. Very thoughtful. And because they were practically neighbors, they were at each other's house a lot, so Alice had an opportunity to observe the family dynamics and shit. And even right there, this is where the ignoring of the signs began. You see, Alice say that while she and William were in the early stages of their I like you, she was at his house for a gathering on Mother's Day. And she saw a peculiar situation between William and Mama. Now, the gist of it was that Mama and son are in the kitchen and they talking. William, at some point, goes to give his mom a hug and a kiss, in the kitchen, and she practically jumped out her skin and told her son to get the fuck back. Or if you believe Alice, what she said actually was, quote, "Boy, don't you ever touch me again." Now, wait a minute. Mothers usually dote over their sons, especially them juniors. Not to mention, it's Mother's Day. If no other day out the year, this the day mama gonna get all kind of hugs and kisses from the people that she grew in her belly. Not William and not his mama. And even more peculiar was that William sees Alice see all this go down. And most normal people will attempt to explain awkward situations or whatever. But not William. Alice said he just kept it moving like it was the most normal thing in the world to see a mother recoil and damn near cartwheel out the kitchen to avoid contact with her son. Alice didn't ask and William didn't tell. And this would basically set the stage for how their relationship would proceed the entire time. Oh no, okay. We all know family dynamics can be a little dysfunctional. Maybe William's mama ain't the touchy-feely type. Yeah, okay, we can say that. This is the beginning of Alice painting the picture that she wanted to see rather than the Polaroid that was developing right in front of her eyes. And his next shenanigan should have had her running for the hills, but it didn't. So a little time has passed, and William is still wooing Alice, and one day he was like, "Baby, get in the car. I'm finna take you somewhere special." Ladies, don't we love when that person we kicking it with surprises us with a little something? Ooh, child, ain't no better feeling. Have you beaming from ear to ear. Well, Miss Alice, she wasn't no different, honey. She in the front seat grinning like a Cheshire cat because her man is fixing to do it, baby. So she get in the car, they ride off, and again, Alice just sniggling and grinning. Well, William, he drive for a bit, and then he parked. And that smile kind of started slipping off of Alice's face because, mind you, this is like the 70s in Oakland. So I want you to hold on that for just a minute. So they get out the car, and Alice is a little thrown off because they are in an area that's a little shady look, and the men are all aggressive and shit. You know, they catcalling or whatever. And she like, wait a minute, my man taking me to the bar? It's something special? Okay, I'll go have a drink with my man. You know, it's my man and I love my man. So Alice followed William into this spot. It's a club. The music is blaring. And as Alice take in the scene, she realizes that it's like all men in this motherfucker. Oh, well, wait a minute. There are a couple of women over there. But wait, they all on stage. And they ain't got no clothes on. Y'all, this motherfucker took the woman he dating to a goddamn strip club. Now, wait a minute. You might be like, nay. Ain't shit wrong with that. Because we all go to the strip club all the time. And I agree with you. Using today's logic, I mean, shit, I've been going to the strip club since the 90s myself, but I need you to look at this here situation using a 1970s logic from a woman's perspective. This was the height of respectability politics in our community. Niggas wasn't even eating coochie yet, for real, and telling nobody, you know what I'm saying? And this man got this here woman in a strip club. That was unheard of. And if you don't believe me, ask your peoples that was dipping it and doing it in the 70s. That was unheard of. Strip clubs back then were considered sleazy, and no good Christian woman would ever be caught dead up in one of them joints. But here go Alice, up here with her man in the motherfucking strip club. Alice actually legit got on pearls, and she is clutching the fuck out of the motherfuckers. Uncomfortable than a motherfucker. Like, she is about to crawl out of her skin. And William, he not only got her in the strip club, but it's clear to Alice that William is a regular. This nigga done got comfortable, and it's the ass and titties of it all. For him, he is not studying the fact that his girl is literally about to lose her shit. Poor Alice. She just sits there because this is what her man wants. She's still painting this picture that her man just got a little eccentric behavior. I mean, really, if you think about it, there's nothing wrong with going to the strip club. He just like to look sometimes. There's really no big deal here. I mean, she can overlook him spending a little change to see what she considers to be something strange. Okay, Alice. But then the red flags started coming kind of fast and furious. And you can see that Alice is in full denial about everything. You know, because her man is a wooer. He likes to buy her little gifts and shit. And you know what? Shantae ain't the only one that got a man. Alice got a good one too, Savannah. Well, okay. One day, here come William with a gift for his boo. And once again, Alice is grinning from ear to ear. She opened the box, and then confusion comes into the room because Alice is looking at some thigh-high, pleather, clear stiletto platform boots. Okay, Alice don't know what the fuck this supposed to be because the only women that wear shit like this is the ones that be, it's some hoes in this house, it's some hoes in this house, if you see them, point them out. Okay, it's that kind of episode. So yeah, this is the 70s, right? Those were the women that you saw in thigh-high pleather boots. Alice was appalled. And she on her, William, what the fuck kind of girl do you think I am? Once again, pearls clutched. And William like, oh, baby, I just thought we could just try a little something different. And Alice was like, oh, no, this ain't different. This is disrespectful. So William take his little boots back and walk away with his tail tucked between his legs. And okay. Now, mind you, at this time, they are shacking up. And William still is throwing these red flags because he got a few peculiar requests that sound kind of Diddy-ish. You see, one thing that William insisted that Alice do as soon as she opened her eyes was to slather on some red lipstick. And when I say the first thing she do, I mean first and foremost. Before she did anything, got out the bed, rubbed her eyes, and then grabbed her lipstick, baby, because them lips had to be hooker red. Okay. And that ain't all. He also mandated that her fingernails always be painted red. Oh, Alice, what are you getting yourself into? Sounds like your man might have written the How to Be a Diddy Guide to Pervs. Well, Alice is still painting this picture. Her man just got a predisposition for how he want his woman to look. And he made sure she kept a manicure appointment to keep them nails just the way he liked them. And so, just to keep the peace. Okay, girl. We all do things in our relationships to please our partners, right? Paint that picture, Alice. Just paint it. So again, Alice is still painting this picture of her Prince Charming. But then she sees some shit that just don't sit right with her spirit. The respectability politics of it all. You see, some kind of way, she sees her man William outside of their house chopping it up with a coochie saleswoman. A prostitute. And it ain't just a passing greeting or nothing like that. Oh, no. They are full-on conversating like old friends. So, of course, Alice getting his shit because respectable people are not seen in public being all friendly and shit with the sex workers. And William is like, but, baby, she my friend. And Alice is like, you can't have no pay-to-play friends, sir. I will not stand for it. And William, he ain't too happy about this, but he attempts to look like he going along to get along. Or so Alice thought. Now, at some point in time, when you're shacking up, shit happen. And Alice and William eventually get pregnant. And they have a bouncing baby girl named Crystal. And William, he got a good job with the city. He a trash man. And so, again, on paper, he's a doting father, a loving boyfriend. And everything appears to be going the way Alice wants it to. She indeed has a good man, Savannah. Well, a little more time passes. And one day, Alice got this routine where she'll call home while she at work, check on the house, make sure everybody okay, Crystal on A, anything you need me bring home, that type of thing. And this particular day when she called home, she said it sounded like she heard somebody in the background that sounded suspiciously like a woman in the house where her and her boyfriend live with their daughter. So, Alice, being a black woman, she got her purse and told the job, I got an emergency and I need to run home right quick. I'll be back in a few. Alice does indeed go home. Mr. Big and Robert sing in the background. What the hell is going on between the sheets in my home? Baby, wait, let me explain before you start to point your cane. That song, they singing it in the background. So Alice, she making her way in there. She go up the stairs and get to her bedroom door. That motherfucker locked. What? So Alice is standing in the hallway of her own house, knocking on her bedroom door, and her man talking about, hold up a minute, baby. Hold up a minute. And I heard a woman's voice. I know Alice was standing there like, I know goddamn well. Because y'all was like that too, right? So William, he finally make it to the door. And he opened that bit a crack like he got, like it's some Jehovah's Witnesses at the door. And Alice is like, what the fuck? And he like, ain't nothing, baby. Well, the ancestors tell Alice, don't be no fool all your life. And Alice push open the door, and what do you know? There is a bucket-naked woman laying in the bed that she shared with her good man, Savannah. And not just any woman. Oh, no, honey, it's one of them purveyors of pussy. Ooh, William like that shit. And baby, yeah, William like her in red, and Alice ain't doing nothing but seeing red at this point. Now, I have to say, it ain't right, but I am proud to say that at this point, Alice lose her shit. As one should if they come home to a situation such as this. So Alice go to the closet while William standing here talking about, baby, it ain't what it look like. Okay, bitch. So you know how we keep that peace be still in the closet? And Alice went and grabbed that motherfucker and was about to lay everybody down in that bitch. And it is at this point that the streetwalker realizes that if she know what's good for her, she will exit stage left out this woman's house. And she did just that. Titties to the wind, out the door. Now, Alice ain't no killer, even if you push her. Trust and believe, yeah, she sent her with this gun in her hand, but she's selling wolf tickets, honey. She ain't about to bust a grape in a fruit fight. And so William take the gun and say all the fuck nigga shit straight out the trifling nigga handbook. Oh, he crying and shit, talking about how much he love her and the baby, and he's so sorry, and please forgive me. I don't know what made me do that, baby. I just love you, and I promise you I ain't gonna never do it again. Y'all know all them lies. And once again, Alice overlooked what the fuck is in front of her face and continues to lay with this puss-ass nigga in the bed that she now for sure knows got more miles than she actually put on that bitch. Well, painting that picture, Alice is like, nope, I love my man, and the next thing you know, they is married. Oh yeah, like that's the solution to the issues at hand. Your boyfriend is a super disrespectful freak, and now you about to have a super disrespectful freak for a husband. Okay. Now, you know, there's part of me, I want to give Alice a little benefit of the doubt on why she is staying with this nigga. I mean, first and foremost, she loved this dog ass nigga, and you can't help who you love. But I also give her just the slightest bit of grace, because during her marriage, this was a time when women needed a man to do a lot of the shit that we take for granted today. You know, she was raised a certain type of way to protect her family and to stand by your man and all that shit. So while I want to shake the shit out of him, I kind of understand that she was just trying to hold this fairy tale together with tears and duct tape the best way she knew how. And so the years, they pass on, and William is just getting worse. Alice hasn't found another prostitute in her bed, but William's still doing weird shit. Like, he got a little porn problem. And, you know, back in the day before porn was free on the internet, if one wanted to get their voyeurism on, you had to go to one of them their stores and buy a tape to pop in the old VCR to get your rocks off. And William had quite the collection of special VHS tapes. And, you know, Alice didn't pay it no mind, though, because many men looked at porn. But one day, she said William invited her to have a looky-look at one of the classics. And you know, y'all can tell by now, Alice went down with the strip club, and she don't strike me as the type to do anything other than the missionary position. But okay, she love her man, and if he want her to take a look at what he like to look at, she is down to watch if it makes her man happy. I mean, in her mind, she was like, you know what, it's just sex. How bad could it be? Man, that shit was bad with a capital B. This nigga ain't watching regular porn. Oh no, this nigga is watching extreme rape pornography. The woman in the video is being brutalized, the screaming of it all. And Alice is horrified. Nigga, this what you into? Torture porn? If you don't get this shit out my house? But no, that's not what Alice did. She said that she called him a couple of bad names, but that was the extent of it, you know? And William didn't give two shits. He still proceeds to try to get Alice to get a little kinky in the bedroom. He bringing out handcuffs and shit. And Alice was like, absolutely not. I told you, she strikes me as the missionary only with the lights completely off type of chick. And ain't nothing wrong with that. If vanilla is your thing, stay in the vanilla lane. Know how freaky you gonna go, and don't you let nobody make you get outside your comfort zone. So, you know, at this point, William is, shall we say, sexually frustrated because he can't get his wife to get down with the get down. So after a while, it went from bad to real bad in the Choyce household. William started leaving the house every night when it got dark, and he would be gone damn near till the sun came up the next day. But Alice didn't care because she didn't want his nasty ass around no way, so she wasn't pressed about his daily jaunts out into the world. She just kept it pushing, still painting that picture of her husband as Prince Charming. He just out just riding around blowing off steam. Ma'am, you said this man leaves every night. Every night? 7 nights a week? You gone? Ugh. Now, even though this is bad, y'all ain't gonna believe this shit I'm about to lay on you now. You see, William and Alice, even though things are strained sexually, they still have good dialogue. They talk like, yeah, the sex life is strained, but they are still in it to win it. So Alice say one day, they just laying around, just enjoying each other's company. William say some shit to the effect of that, he has fantasies of fucking his mama. Let me just let that roll around in the atmosphere for a minute, cause that ain't some shit you hear motherfuckers say about their mama. And to say Alice is disgusted would be an understatement. And after she go off on his nasty ass, he try to clean it up. But nigga, ain't no cleaning up that shit. Ain't nothing right about you wanting to see your mama's fuck face, period. But Alice, girl, the writing is on the wall. What are we still doing here? I know you took vows. I know they said for better or for worse. But girl, when you get to the level past worse, it's time to go, boo. And this shit this nigga been doing to you, and you still making excuses and trying to paint this picture? Yeah. Yes, she is. Okay, so let's sum up what we have so far. William likes strip clubs and prostitutes. He bring them home, and he want to fuck his mom. Okay, let's keep going. Well, William is starting to stay gone for days at a time now. And when he get back, if Alice asks him where he's been, he goes off on her and be telling her, don't be questioning me. And he now got this wild look about him. Something is off. I mean, something been off this entire time, but now it don't look like William is trying to hide it anymore. Yeah? Now he begins his reign of actually terrorizing his family. And his daughter, Lil Crystal, baby, she is there, and her daddy has been the apple of her eye, as most little girls, that's how they feel. But then her daddy starts turning into a monster. I told you Alice be at work, so Crystal is at home with her dad a lot. I don't understand the dynamic. He was a trash man, but some kind of way now, it don't appear that William is working anymore because he always at home with Crystal. But I don't know. She didn't really go into detail and I couldn't find nothing. So we are just really trying to figure some shit out at this point. So Crystal is at home with her daddy a lot because her mama at work. And little Crystal is starting to see these real big changes in her dad. Like he is mean and surly and aggressive to her all the time. He calls her out her name. I'm talking about terrible name. And he started putting hands on Crystal. That's not good. Well, it all came to a head one day because you see, Crystal got this little doll that she had since she was a baby. And it's been like her favorite thing in the world. It's one of those things, with kids, everywhere she goes, she take this doll with her. The doll is prominently displayed on her bed. This is her boo, right? Well, one day, her dad had gotten really upset with her because she couldn't get something right. She was taking piano lessons and she kept fucking up the piece or whatever. And Daddy went off on her. She goes to bed. Well, the next day she wake up and the first thing she see is her doll hanging by a noose in her closet. Well, she started screaming because somebody just killed her doll. Now, mind you, she ain't but 11. Y'all, tell me why William is standing in the doorway watching her see the doll, and he begins to taunt her, telling her, yeah, I killed that bitch, and ain't nothing you can do about it. I'll kill you too. Like, this is her daddy. He is intentionally tormenting his only child, but yet and still, they stayed. Alice didn't go nowhere. But then, some months later, Alice get a 911 page. And when she called Crystal back, Crystal tell her that her daddy kept her home from school that day. And he is walking around acting hella suspect with a ski mask on. And Alice like, a ski mask? And Crystal is like, yeah, mama, he walking around with a ski mask on. So Alice tell Crystal to go in her room, close the door, and she'll be home soon. They hang up. Well, the next thing you know, Alice is getting another 911 page from Crystal. And this time when she called back, Crystal tell her that the police are outside their house and that the woman next door, their neighbor, has jumped out the window. Someone had broken into her house and attacked her, and the man had on a ski mask. So Alice come home And she asked her husband, hey, baby, what's up? And he like, shit, ain't that? And she was like, anything interesting happened today? William say, no, not really. So she's like, well, Crystal say that there was a whole lot of police out here and that the lady next door got attacked and she had to jump out her window. Did the police come over here and talk to you? And William was like, nope. I ain't had shit to do with that, so why the fuck they gonna talk to me? Now, Alice noted this is some bullshit because she can remember catching William gazing out the window at this particular neighbor's house who just got attacked. So she know something ain't right. So she go and she talked to Crystal and she's like, hey, baby, do you know where Daddy keeps that mask? And Crystal was like, yeah, I know. And so Alice said, well, can you show me? Crystal takes Alice to their room. Daddy side of the closet, pointed a shoebox. Alice grabbed the shoebox, and there go the motherfucking mask. So now she asking William, what the fuck was up with this mask? And William talking about, well, I was doing some yard work in the yard, and I ain't want all that dust and stuff to get in my face. Nigga, the yard ain't been touched this year. Alice know in her soul that William did that shit. But do you think that she said anything to anybody? Nope. Well, God don't like ugly, and it all came to a head a few weeks later. Now, mind you, since William be gone every night, Alice just makes sure that her and Crystal eat, right? William is clearly eating while he's gone, and that kind of becomes a routine. But then one night, William comes back early. When he walk in the house, he goes in the kitchen, and he asks Alice, where my dinner at? And Alice was like, well, shoot, baby, I ain't think you were going to be here, so me and Crystal just ate the last of the leftovers. I didn't cook nothing fresh. And I mean, that sounds perfectly reasonable, right? There's nothing that would make one fly off the handle at that explanation. Well, honey, William went the fuck off on Alice. I'm talking full-blown crash out. He yokes Alice up and starts slanging her around the house. Talking about he the man of the house and she don't run shit and she better not ever disrespect him like that again. And then he started talking about what he ought to do to her. And like Alice is scared than a motherfucker. This nigga is gone in the head. She is looking at this man and her husband is no longer in the building and she don't know who this man is. But what she do know is that this man that's throwing her from wall to wall is probably gonna kill her and her daughter if she don't get the fuck out of Dodge immediately. Not immediately, immediately. That's even faster than immediately. So William, he storm off, still talking shit. He go in the room, they bedroom, and he just sitting there. He ain't saying nothing to nobody. He just sitting on the bed with a gun in his lap. Oh shit, Alice. Baby, Alice is black. Please understand. Her real instincts kicked in. Alice tiptoed, got her shoes, and told Crystal to go get in the car. She ain't stopped to pack a bag or nothing. Sister girl left with the clothes on her back, and that might have been the smartest decision ever. You can buy new clothes, but you don't need clothes when you're communing with Jesus on the other side. Baby, that particular day, Alice left the house and she never looked back. This is April of 1988 when this goes down. Well, now that Alice and Crystal are gone, William is free to do whatever the fuck he want to do. And we gonna find out that it wasn't nothing nice. William proceeds to put together a rape mobile. Oh yes, he got a rape mobile out here in these streets. This nigga got a van. And in the back of the van, he got it set up with a fold-out bed and a grab bag that contains duct tape and rope. And now that he ain't gotta hide, this nigga is just snatching up women and raping them and so much more. And it goes on for quite a while. Because mind you, Alice and them left in 1988. It wouldn't be until 2002, some 14 years later, that William finally gets caught with his hands trying to take the cookies out the jar. Oh yes, old rapey rape man finally gets hit with a rape charge by a woman that he let go. She ran straight to the cops and gave them a description of the van, the make and the model and the color, and where William took her to, and they picked William's ass up. William is convicted of rape, and he is given an 11-year sentence. And you know what? That just don't sit right with me. The sentencing guidelines and the disparities between a sex crime and other criminal offenses. I mean, because I know niggas doing big double digits behind bars for some conspiracy type of situations and drug endeavors. And yet a motherfucker that's grabbing them by the pussy We make him president. Me and that strong arm of bitch out her nookie only getting 11 years. And y'all know state time ain't never what's actually on paper. I mean, out of those 11 years, he could potentially be out in 5, maybe even 4 if they got some kind of bullshit program he can get down with. I'ma tell you, I would much rather see the drug dealers get them 4 years and the rapists get fed time type of sentences where they have to do all their goddamn time. You get 11 years, you're going to do all 4,015 of them days that you were given, period. Maybe that will make a motherfucker think twice about snatching some snatch. And mandatory minimums, there are mandatory minimums for drug cases. Keep that same energy for rape cases, sexual assaults. Oh yes, no means no. Now, I'm not heartless. I'm talking about the serial offending type of rapist. If you fuck around one time and disrespect the no, or you take something that ain't been given freely or for profit, then you get a minimum 5-year sentence to sit and think about the choices that led you to a prison cell for some pussy. You get out and you still ain't got no respect for the no, then you get 25 to the dope. Period. No exceptions. Because for me, 2 is serial offender type of time. If your DNA is found in some cat, that's your ass. You don't get a 3rd time at bat. Period. Y'all know that's that Old Testament coming up out of me. But let's move on, shall we? Because I still got to tell you what William ass was out here doing. So, William is off to be state property. And one might think that this story is about to come to a close now that old Freaky Willie is off the street. Well, one would be wrong because this story is now about to crank up the heat. Because in 2002, when William went to prison, their law had already been passed in California to get DNA samples from all the criminals that get locked up. So everybody goes into the database. A couple of years later, after William started his prison bid, in 2004, Officer John Basalto from the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Department, that's in California, y'all. He was on the cold case squad. And he had been doing this particular gig for about 2 years when he blew the dust off an old unsolved homicide from back in 1997, about 7 years prior. And he gets the evidence that was collected and he run that shit through the DNA machine. And what do you know? He gets the hit. Turns out his cold case was linked to another cold case that same year in 1997, as well as another cold case from 1988, almost 10 years before this particular case that he's looking at, where this woman met her untimely demise. One perp's DNA was present in all of the women. These women were Gwendolyn Lee and LaWanda Beck. They got killed back in 1997, and a woman named Victoria Bell in 1988. Well, LaWanda Beck, we found out, was from Stockton, California, and she was killed on July 7th, 1997. Gwendolyn Lee was also from Stockton, California. She was killed on August 11th, 1997. And then Victoria Bell, she was from Oakland, and she was killed in April of 1988. Well, I want to go back to that one because April of 1988, remember that's when William came home and Alice didn't know what the fuck was going on and he was terrorizing her in the house and had that gun? Well, he had already killed Victoria Bell when he came home and was finna do his wife and daughter. Ooh, woo, baby Alice, you dodged a bullet, girl, literally. Now, Victoria Bell was a white woman. LaWanda and Gwen are Black. All 3 of these women are linked to a history of drug abuse and whatever needed to be done to secure said drugs to abuse. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they sell a little ass to support their habits, and all 3 met their untimely demise when they jumped in William's van. From what we understand from survivors, he would restrain them with the rope and the duct tape, and then he would beat them and then sexually assault them. And when he was done, if they said anything to the effect about going to the police or telling somebody, then William would kill them. But if they didn't, if they just said, I'm gonna be quiet, I ain't gonna tell nobody, he would actually let them go. But this is what's crazy, y'all. As if it wasn't enough to be sexually assaulting these women and then killing them. When he was done, he didn't toss the bodies out. Oh no. I mean, well, I guess technically he did toss the bodies out, but this diabolical ass nigga would pose the bodies. And it was the posing that was just the triflingness of it all. You see, he would put these women in a position where their bodies was face down and ass up to Jesus in their birthday suits with their legs crossed. Ooh, just audacious motherfucker. Well, William was already in prison for rape, remember, when the DNA connected him to these crimes. So they didn't have far to go find his ass. He was already state property. And of course, when they interviewed him, he denied that shit like Peter did Jesus. But it don't matter what you say, sir, because if you say you don't know these women, and you ain't never met these women, and you definitely ain't never had sex with these women, how the fuck did your DNA end up in all of these women? William didn't have no answer for that. So he's still in prison while he's waiting to go to trial. And by the time the trial comes around, William is 54 years old and about to stand trial for a 3-piece homicidal murdering spree. Now, the judge in this case, Judge Linda Loftus, she does this special kind of jury selection for this particular trial. You know, normally all the potential jurors, they are together in a room and they are answering questions to see if they're going to get picked for a jury. In William's trial, the judge did something called a Hovey voir dire, which is where each juror is questioned individually in depth about all kinds of shit related to the case. In this particular instance, it was questions like, explain your position on capital punishment. What is your religious belief and how does that factor into how you would determine someone to be guilty or innocent? What's your background? Have you ever suffered from abuse? You know, stuff like that. And, you know, doing jury selection like this takes a minute. Like, this started the beginning of May of 2008, and they said they did like 20 jurors a day for 20 plus days until they finally picked 12 jurors and 2 alternates. Now, William's actual trial took about a month. It started in July of 2008. The prosecution had the experts and the ballistics from the gun, and he also had 3 women that had survived being assaulted by William, and they testified, you know, that he raped them, held them at gunpoint, and then would let them go when they said that they wouldn't tell anybody. Now, the defense, they didn't really have much to say at all. There were no witnesses. Nobody was going to stand up and talk for William. And so the defense was just trying to say that William was psychologically damaged by his abusive mother. Boy, bye. You lived a charmed life. You had everything you ever needed and wanted. Your family was the Huxtables of the neighborhood. You just fucked up in the head all on your own. Don't be trying to put that on Miss Iris. And the jury didn't go for that shit either because they found William guilty on all counts in August of 2008, and he was formally sentenced on September 18th, 2008 to the death penalty. Now, we already know that in these type of situations, there are automatic appeals that drag out the process of getting down to the business of cutting a motherfucker water off. But California, even though they got the death penalty, they are not a death penalty carrying out kind of state. Yeah, you see, they're not disconnecting anybody. There was a challenge that the death penalty was cruel and unusual, and California was like, you know what, you're right. We're just going to let y'all sit over here on death row and just not do anything about it. And as of today, William Jennings Choyce is 71 years old and still yet holding on. He is inmate T50213 and is being housed at the California Healthcare Facility in Stockton, California. His old ass probably got all mannerisms of health issues. But I say fuck him. Kick rocks, nigga. All we got is a couple of expired bottles of Robitussin. You better make it do what it do. And that, New Orleans Nation, was the story of William Jennings Choyce, a raping raper that raped and a murdering murderer that murdered his way across California. But the crazy part is who knows what the real body count for William's punk ass is? Cause ain't no way this nigga just did them 3. Now, I'm sure that many of his victims, the DNA evidence is still sitting and collecting dust on a shelf somewhere, because nobody has taken the time to pull these old cases off the shelf and actually run the evidence. Or no one has thought that it was warranted to even collect evidence and test, because again, a lot of these victims are going to be of the prostitute, drug addict variety, right? And we also know by now that detectives, they choose the cases that they want to look into more. They don't just run all of the evidence that they got on every case that's just sitting out there. So we will never, ever know the true number of victims that there are. But we got to understand, Alice the Whole Man went out every night of the week. If nothing else, it's 52 weeks in a year. If he only killed 1 woman a week, that could be a lot of women. If he only sexually assaulted 1 woman a week. That's still a lot of women year after year after year after year. And we will never, ever know. Now, the only other thing I want to say is that Alice's situation is not unique. There are plenty of people in a relationship with somebody that is throwing more red flags than a NASCAR race, and they ignore them all. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but if your significant other leaves and comes back when they want to and dares you to ask a question, you need to go. If your significant other like to walk around the house in ski mask and holding guns and shit, you need to go. And if your subconscious is telling you that something ain't right, you need to go. Starting over is hard, but it's doable. Everything you walk away from, you can and will get it again. Don't let the trappings of a materialistic nature get you a one-way ticket to the upper room, because that shit is happening every day. Every day, all day, we see people loving their significant others or their exes to death. And just one other little small thing. Y'all, being unequally yoked is a recipe for disaster. I mean, for real, for real. If your partner has sexual needs, desires, fantasies, whatever you want to call it, that you ain't down with, please understand these proclivities don't disappear. They just go underground. I mean, if he like to choke a chicken while stroking and poking, he ain't gonna stop just because you vegetarian, if you know what I'm saying. I'm just saying, make sure your freak match they freak. It'll save you so much heartache in the long run. And that's all I got to say about that. All right, y'all. Y'all know we got to talk about this on the socials. You can find me at Melanin Mayhem Podcast on IG, YouTube, and Facebook. And I am Melanin Mayhem PC on X. Go ahead and get down with the discussion group so you can be in the know and at the front of the line for all the events and happenings and so forth. It's Melanin Mayhem Podcast discussion group on Facebook. Now, this week's New Orleans Nation shout out goes to Crystal Middleton, who left a review on Spotify. And Crystal, you are my peoples for this, girl. It was short, sweet, and to the point. She said, I prefer to inhale than swallow too. Yes, twin. Come through. So short, so sweet, so straight to the point. Because what's understood ain't got to be explained, baby. Crystal, thank you for listening and taking the time to leave me a review, boo. I love it. All right, y'all, I got to go. Let me tell you, the sun has beat me down today, and I am so pooped. I got to get in this kitchen and edit this podcast and get it all together. But please know and understand that I will be back next week with another tale of serial shenanigans. But until we link up again, y'all be sure to stay safe and stay vigilant. And above all else, remember, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. It's one love, New Orleans Nation, and your favorite country girl is out of here.
Woo-wee, Nana, you did that.